So let's just dive right in. Here's the big question on everyone's mind. How do we stay relevant? How do we stay valuable in a world that's increasingly run by artificial intelligence? Now, you might think the answer is buried in some brand new tech, but what if I told you the real blueprint was actually written almost 30 years ago by a billionaire investor?
I mean, the stakes could not be higher. When the CEO of NVIDIA, the company literally building the engine for the AI revolution, says something like this, you have to stop and listen. The old skills are getting automated away, and the race is officially on to figure out what comes next. So, okay, what are the new rules of the game in this AI-driven world? Let's go straight to the source and hear from the people who are actually building it, the architects of our AI future, about what they think our new human edge is really going to be. Jensen Huang's point here is just fascinating. He argues that the new programming language isn't Python or C++, it's deep expertise in a specific field, like biology or economics or manufacturing. Your value completely shifts. It's not about telling the machine how to do something anymore. It's about having the wisdom to know what important problem to ask it to solve in the first place. Next up, you've got Sam Altman from OpenAI. He sees a future where a single person can run a massive company just by acting as an orchestrator. You don't need to know every single little detail, but you do need that high-level common sense to see how all the different AI agents and systems fit together to get something done. We're talking a major shift from specialization to synthesis. And then there's Elon Musk, who's always talking about first principles thinking. In an AI world, our job becomes being the ultimate reality check. An AI might spit out some brilliant new design, but can you use the fundamental laws of physics and logic to figure out if it'll actually work? That, he argues, is the uniquely human skill. Domain expertise, system synthesis, first principles, these all sound like brand new cutting-edge ideas, right? But here's the twist. The person who created the single most powerful framework for mastering all of them wasn't a tech CEO at all. He was a 20th century investor. That's right. The solution to our very 21st century problem with AI was laid out in a speech given all the way back in 1994. Think about that. That's before most of us had even heard of the internet. The man was Charlie Munger. Now, most people know him as Warren Buffett's brilliant right-hand man, but Munger was so much more than that. He was a true polymath. He was obsessed with one single question. Why do really smart people make such terrible mistakes? And his answer to that question is the key to everything. This is what's so incredible. Munger's speech back in '94 laid out a method for thinking that perfectly bridges the gap to today. It directly tackles the challenges of the AI revolution. His ideas have, seriously, never been more relevant than they are right now. So what was this big revolutionary idea? Well, Munger called it the Latticework of Mental Models, and it's his core concept for achieving what he called worldly wisdom. Okay, so think about a physical latticework, right? Like in a garden trellis. It's a structure of crisscrossing pieces that all support each other. For Munger, a mental latticework is the exact same idea, but inside your head. It's a framework you build from the big, fundamental ideas from a ton of different fields. The goal isn't just to know a bunch of random facts. It's to understand the core models that actually run the world. And this really gets to the heart of why this whole idea is so powerful. Munger said that just memorizing isolated facts is totally useless. You'll forget them, and you won't have a clue how to apply them. Real knowledge, he said, comes from hanging your facts and experiences onto this interconnected mental structure. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds like a lot of work, but Munger actually made it feel really achievable. He believed you don't need to know everything. Just 80 to 90 of these core models are enough to understand the vast majority of what you're going to run into in life. And he even told us where to go looking for these models. Just look at the breadth here. It's not just about business or economics. It's about pulling the big ideas from all over the place. Things like critical mass from physics, the model of natural selection from biology, and all the cognitive biases from psychology. Okay, but building this latticework isn't just about learning new stuff. It's also about avoiding the two biggest mental traps that get in our way and mess up our thinking. This was Munger's number one warning. It's this tendency for a specialist to see every single problem through the super narrow lens of their own expertise. The economist tries to solve everything with economic models, the engineer with engineering principles, and this leads to massive, massive blind spots. Munger famously captured this entire idea with the phrase, "To a man with only a hammer, every problem looks like a nail." It just perfectly describes the danger of having only one tool in your mental toolbox. The latticework is the cure for that. Munger's second great idea is something he called the Lollapalooza effect. This is what happens when a bunch of different mental models or psychological biases all start pushing in the same direction at the same time. And the result isn't just 1 + 1 = 2, it's an explosive, often totally irrational outcome that no single model could ever predict on its own. It's a true force multiplier for human behavior. Just think about a live auction. First, you've got social proof. Everyone else is bidding, so this thing must be really valuable, right? Then you feel this sense of reciprocity. Hey, I've invested my time here, I should get something for it. And finally, you get hit with what Munger called a deprival superreaction. The fear of losing the item just begins overwhelming. All these forces combine, and boom, people end up paying crazy prices. That's a Lollapalooza. So let's bring all this home. How does this framework from 1994 give us the edge we need in the age of AI?
right here, the difference just becomes crystal clear. Traditional education, a lot of the time, it puts knowledge in these little silos. It focuses on memorization to train specialists. It literally creates the man with a hammer. Munger's approach does the complete opposite. It integrates knowledge onto a latticework, and the goal is worldly wisdom. This requires the exact skills, system synthesis, first principles thinking, that today's tech leaders are desperately calling for. And this brings us to the ultimate takeaway. AI is becoming the perfect bolt. It can perform specialized tasks incredibly well. Our value, our human edge, is to become the ones who understand how the entire machine works. So here's the final idea to take with you. Your current domain expertise is absolutely essential. It's the first and most important tool in your toolbox. But to truly thrive in this new age of AI, it just can't be your only one. So Munger really leaves us with a personal challenge. What's the next fundamental model from another discipline that you're going to learn to start building your own lattice work?